My name is Will Thoms, and I'm standing here in Gallery Route 1 in beautiful Point Reyes Station, California. And I'm here to introduce my current exhibit, which opens tomorrow, November 19th, and runs through the end of the year. There's going to be, in the show, there are 17 paintings, 14 of which I did since January of this year. The other 3 are older paintings. All of the paintings start with a uniform grid. The one you're looking at now is 10 by 8 units. It measures 30 by 24. This painting is 48 inches by 48 inches. It's one of the 3 larger paintings in the show. It's called Shapeshift. All of the smaller paintings have the same grid, the same size, roughly 30 by 24 inches, 80 pieces altogether. And what I'm shooting for within this rigid form is a sense of movement and play of color. All of these paintings are, these smaller paintings, I use newspaper, San Francisco Chronicle, which I've stained and painted using latex, commercial spray paint, and acrylic. And in doing that, I create a palette from which I work. This one, called Red and Black, is the first one that I did. It was actually a reworking of an old painting. I did it in January. And all the other paintings basically started with this. One thing leading to another. This is one of the larger paintings in the show. It's called sleight of hand. It's made up of lots of material, stained paper, fender washers, scraps of wood. I like using materials that are not traditionally associated with artwork. This painting is the last of the large works. It's called One Door Closes and Another Opens. All the pictures are mixed media on panel. I used 1/8-inch panel with a wooden frame. Paintings are basically collages with overpainting once the collage part is done. And I come back and paint over. And that's the end. Painting, the show will be up until the end of the year. Gallery hours are, let's see, the hours are 11 to 5 every day except Tuesday and Wednesday. So come by and have a look. Thank you.
Welcome to Betty Woolfolk's Museum of Curious Memories. I'm Shelley Rugg, the Executive Director at Gallery Route 1, and I invite you to come down and find yourself a treasure and thereby support Gallery Route 1's exhibitions and programs. We're going to take a look at the show and learn a little bit more about Betty and her work as told by Z. Morvitz and read by Ellen Vogel.
Betty Woolfolk was a founding member of Gallery Route 1. She became the first artist member coordinator when GRO's artists needed a representative and leader. Later, she reluctantly agreed to serve as the executive director when the organizational structure required one. She was at the heart of nearly all of GRO's activities, and even today, the organization retains many of her values and ideas. Betty started out as a weaver and fabric artist, clearly influenced by Klaus Oldenburg. She was interested in materials, from fiber to metal, plastic, even paper clay. She haunted thrift stores and garage sales and places selling off beat gizmos and unusual equipment. She had shelves full of weird stuff in her studio. Her practice was to put odd things together to make even odder things. She was very interested in pop culture, the materials and the imagery, kids' toys and adults' gambling games. She must have had a shipping container's worth of dominoes and dice, plus a huge quantity of findings, the glittery metallic stars and other shapes that were meant to be sewn into costumes. Using all the weird stuff she collected, she would invoke pop images like the Joker, the Devil, Betty Boop. Her raw materials were action figures, plastic animals, and monsters. E.T. was a favorite. She once created an installation about alien abduction as it appeared in toys, books, and pop images. Artifacts from phony science were among her favorite objects. Eventually, they gave her installations of weird science the title of the Museum of Curious Thought. Her first solo show in our current space was the recreation of an Egyptian tomb, substituting artifacts made out of lumpy celluclay for the highly refined alabaster and gold of the Egyptian craftspeople. From the same period are these humorous images made of celluclay with embedded plastic toys, these phony archaeological artifacts. This was Betty's sense of humor, about debunking the precious and recreating thoroughly cheesy souvenirs. You could say that Betty worked at the intersection of pop art and surrealism, but she'd never speak this way. She did not like to talk about her work at all, and she never used the language of art criticism. For her, it was all about making stuff.
Sharing space with Betty Woolfolk's Museum of Curious Memories is Off the Wall, an exhibition of small works by selected GRO artist members. This first piece is by Austin Buckingham. And here are a couple of small mixed media pieces by Thoms. The idea with this show is that the works can be purchased and taken home the day that they are selected. And once work comes down, new works will go up. These photographs are by Charles and Selma. This piece is by Jenny Lynn Hall. Here are two small pieces by Z. Morvitz. This work is by Pat Augsburger. The artist here is Stephen Pring. And next to him, work by Stephen Hurwitz. And last, but certainly not least, is this diptych by Ellen Vogel. We hope you can come in and support Gallery Route 1's exhibitions and programs.
Hello, I'm Ellen Vogel. Welcome to Gallery Route 1 and my show, Pandemic Companions. These images were born out of an urge to investigate what was on my mind and in my subconscious during the first couple of years of the pandemic. So-called making is a favorite way for me to approach this. Pandemic time, it felt like a good time to exercise trust and use my instincts. These small drawings began as a spontaneous mark or a brushstroke. That's what I'd put down first. I would then begin to respond to that. And as I worked, I attempted to keep connecting with what felt authentic, stopping when I began to embellish. Sometimes I experienced the characters as biological, but often they just amused me. I did many of these, and the ones I chose to show here are the ones that felt most alive to me. These drawings kept me good company during lockdown time. They were excellent companions. Thank you for being with us, and I hope you can come down and see them in person and the other beautiful shows that are hung until December 31st.